Behind every staircase is a gunpowder magazine. The one over there is the largest. It held 10,000 pounds of gunpowder. That's what the U.S. is going to concentrate on. We think of the Civil War. We think of these great big old cannons. What comes out of them? A cannonball. A cannonball comes flying through the air, hits my poor little brick wall. What's going to happen? The cannonball breaks, they said. That's what y'all said. The wall breaks. No. What happens? No. Why does the ball come back? That's quite right. But why does the ball bounce back? Because of the what? Huh? Okay, do y'all play basketball at school? Okay, you play Foursquare? What do y'all use? A ball. Why do y'all use a ball? It bounces. Why does it bounce? No. Why don't you use a square? You can use a rubber square to use it. Why do you use a ball? It's round. It does what when it hits? Bounces, because it's a ball. When it hits, it rolls and bounces back up. Okay? So if we take a ball and we fire at that wall, what's going to happen? It's going to bounce back because why? It's round. It's a ball. That's why when you watch Robin Hood and the Jolly Old Men and all the castles in Europe, that's why they don't just sit there in the artillery. They send the Jolly Old Men. It would take weeks to try and knock a hole through one of these walls with a ball. However, the Civil War is often referred to as the first modern war. Cannons now are no longer smooth inside. They have grooves. What's those grooves called in the barrel? Rifling. Cannonballs now are not always round. They're elongated, pointed. They look like a bullet. They spin more velocity, more accuracy. Hits on a point. When all that force hits the wall, all that force then is rammed into the wall, and what happens? It will crack. They aimed at this back wall. In 11 hours, the walls begin to crack. Any second, they're going to hit the magazine. They hit the magazine. They hit 10,000 pounds of gunpowder. If you hit 10,000 pounds, what's it going to sound like? God, that's pitiful. Do y'all understand 10,000 pounds, man? I want to hear this. That's still not good. One more time. One more chance. So you understand. So the South had a little dilemma here. Surrender or die. What did they do? As you can see, Fort Macon is still here. That's why we're not called Fort Macon National Wildlife Refuge. Because they surrendered. So for that reason, what we just discussed, I'm going to find out if you were paying attention. For that reason, Civil War forts are made of what? There are no brick Civil War forts. Tell me why there are no brick Civil War forts. They will break because of what? Rifled artillery. So would you build something that's no good? No, we live in the South. There's Fort Fisher. You come by Fort Huggins in Swanboro, Fort Anderson, Fort Branch. We live in the South. Forts are made of what? You ever been to Fort Fisher? Man, y'all gotta take a trip there because it's awesome. You go down there, you know what it is? A pile of sand. Earthworks. What happens? You shoot a cannonball into a dirt pile. It gets stuck. Does it really hurt the dirt pile? No. What happens? You shoot a bullet into a dirt pile. It gets stuck. Does it hurt the dirt pile really? No. So when you go to the Civil War, we use earthworks. Because bricks can be what now? Broken. So if you see Fort Macon, you go to Europe, you see a castle, you know it's built before when? What war? The American Civil War. Because now all these structures are obsolete with technology. Technology had changed. So Fort Macon, Fort Sumter, Fort Pulaski are used in the Civil War, but they're not, they're obsolete, the actual structures. So this was the second time in history that rifle artillery was used in support. At the end of the Civil War, we're turned into a U.S. cooling station for the blockade of Wilmington, North Carolina, during the port. Now they're trying to get that port. After the Civil War, during Reconstruction, North and South Carolina, this is turned into a federal penitentiary. They came in here, they threw bars down the west wing. So for North and South Carolina, if you were in prison, this is where you would be. What fort built right after War of 1812 became the most famous prison in the U.S.? You never heard of Fort Macon before? It's true, did you? It's not too famous. Come on, give me a famous prison.
Alcatraz.
What? Alcatraz, Fort Alcatraz. Most all these forts were turned into federal prisons. Alcatraz has boring history. You'd love that tour guide. Y'all would get off the boat, walk up there, and be a guy looking like me, and I'd be like, welcome to Alcatraz. No one escaped Alcatraz. Have a good day. I'd be like, the coolest guide ever. Unfortunately, you're stuck with me. And everybody got out of Fort Macon. They couldn't keep them in this place. So they finally closed Fort Macon Prison. Fort Macon wouldn't be needed again until 1898, the war that we all forgot. Remember the Maine? Our battleship blew up in Cuba. Yeah, I'm trying to remember. What was that war? The Spanish were down there, and we were down there. What's the name of that war? No, that's 1840s. That's before the Civil War. Spanish, American War. The Spanish-American War in 1898. During that war, the 3rd North Carolina Volunteers are sitting here in an all-black regiment. What is unique about an all-black regiment? Huh? They were all African-Americans. What's unique about that? Huh? There's possibility some of them were slaves. Some of them could have been slave owners. I don't know. I don't know the history. So a lot of them could have been slave owners for all I know. They could have been. Some of them could have been slaves too. You didn't know they owned slaves? Huh? Oh, yes, they did. Yes. But I don't know the history of every man. I don't know if he was a slave or a slave owner, or he did not have nothing to do with slavery. He may not have been a slave. I don't know the history. But what is unique about an all-black regiment? What was unique about that? Now, there's always been African Americans in all the wars. Yes? It's the first time it ever happened. If you watch the Civil War, and y'all probably haven't watched Glory and stuff, there's always been African American soldiers, but they always had white officers. Our Governor Russell, decided to allow black officers. So the 3rd North Carolina Volunteers were formed, the first all-black regiment. Colonel Young, a graduate of Shaw University in Raleigh, became the first black commander of a military regiment. They were sent here, became the first black commander of a military base. So even though the war was quickly over here, nothing really happened, it was a big breakthrough for the African-American soldier, and quickly after Indiana, Illinois followed, and then the rest of the country. But North Carolina was the forefront in allowing black officers. After the Civil War, Fort Macon's abandoned. They could never be needed again. Soon trees, briars, snakes, spiders take over the whole structure. 20 years later, Congress says, why do we have it? Let's sell it and make some money. So the for sale signs go up. State of North Carolina, how much do you want for this? And 389 acres of land. And the federal government said, we'll take no less than